Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. Yes, it's me, DR, back after a short hiatus, and this time it's with a vengeance and a shoe review. Cue intro. So I'm reviewing the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percents. These bad boys. Personally, I love the black colour. Comes in 3 different colours that are available. I got these as soon as you could get them in the UK officially for normal people. In the spirit of transparency, I bought these with my own money, so this is not biased by any additional input. These are my own opinions, thoughts, feelings as an amateur runner running in these bad boys. And I will have to say, I'm going to actually go against the consensus I've seen out of running channels and say I really enjoyed running in these. Now, I'm no elite runner by any stretch of the imagination, not at all. I'm a standard, probably normal runner in terms of endurance, fitness. I'm an average runner in terms of ability, but I loved running in these shoes. I absolutely love them. So we'll talk from the toe box back to the heel cup, and then we'll talk about the sole going along. So for me, the toe box, lots of people have talked about the fact the toe box is fairly tight. It's a very weird feeling. It's very unique in terms of running shoes that I've run in. Now, I've run in a lot, but it's very unique. What I mean by that is there's almost a feeling like you're in the easiest way I can describe it as a wide steel toe cap shoe. Now, it's not as unpleasant as that sounds. So my foot had enough room to maneuver, to fit in there. There was enough room for it. It didn't have the tight feeling that some people have talked about having in the toe box. It didn't feel tight. It felt like there was enough room for my foot to move and breathe in. But if I moved my toe up and down, so I kind of flexed my toes upwards so they were pointing to the sky, it almost felt there was a solid object in front of it preventing it from going upwards. So it meant that if I put my foot in really weird positions as I was running, then it would feel as if it was sealed. So almost like there was a solid top, like a steel toe cap boot would have. Even though when I ran, my foot felt like it had enough room. It was a weird feeling, and I'm not saying it was a bad feeling. It was just different. So, you know, this moves me up to the upper, and the upper felt really locked in. There's a kind of meshing on the side internally that gives it structure, and a meshing side here. I don't know if I can show you this in here, but there's almost a meshing on the side of each. So this feels very much like my favorite daily trainer in terms of the upper, like the Epic React with a little bit more structure. So this Flyknit material is very sock-like, but almost firm. So I really like that. I really enjoyed that feeling. So it feels like the Epic React in terms of that lockdown in the midfoot. And as I said, there's some structure there that really kind of holds you in. I like the off-centered lacing style of this shoe, very similar to the Vaporflies in terms of that off-structured, and it meant that, you know, I didn't necessarily feel the lacing was giving me the lock in the shoe. It was more the structure of the upper. The lacing to me felt a bit like an afterthought in terms of what was keeping my foot in place. It was really the structure of this that was keeping my foot in place. No tongue, so to speak. It's linked in, and I like that from a tongue. I like that tongue to be part of the shoe, so that felt really good. Moving back to the heel cup, real nice firm heel cup, kept my foot locked in. Some people really had issues with the foam that's inside here. There's a bit of cushioning inside the heel cup. Some people had issues with that, rubbing against their Achilles. I actually didn't. I think because my foot felt locked in up to here, it felt locked in back here, and it wasn't moving around. I think, you know, from my perspective, this was ideal. So the back of my heel kind of sat right nicely in that, and therefore that kind of pressed up against my Achilles, and it didn't feel like it was movement like that. So I really enjoyed that. Unusually, all of this is locked in. So the foam here, you can't remove it. It looks like it's sewn in. So most nights you can remove the insole, but this is locked in. But I didn't have an issue with that. So for me, the upper was really nice. It was nice. I've been running in non kind of one-piece uppers, and going back to a one-piece upper felt really good. It felt like a bit of a return to home for me. So I really enjoyed that Flyknit. Very solid, but also quite a firmer material than the Epics, which are more sock-like. So I enjoyed that. Moving on to the soles, so starting with the forefoot, lots of rubber here, lots of rubber, and I think that's a real good thing in terms of Nike. Nike, sometimes their shoes are a bit, you know, like race cars, you know, fragile beasts that you run in for races but don't necessarily train in. So it's nice that there's a whole load of rubber here, and I felt like I had traction moving forward. I did feel the air pockets actually. I didn't think I would. I thought there would be a bit of a gimmick, but I felt the air pockets. I felt like I had a bit more spring in my step, and when I was running, it almost was that I felt the natural roll. So here is a very so I felt that roll, and then my toe off enabled me to push. Like lots of people talked about the weight of this shoe, and I didn't really feel the weight. It was almost like the weight was being compensated by having an extra spring in your step. So it was like bounce, bounce, bounce. So there was more force in the push off. So it's something that was helping my leg get off the ground. And I think that's the combination of the air pocket and the plate that's running in. I don't think it's a carbon plate. I think it's more of a plastic plate, but that's in the shoe. So that was helping my toe come off. So you can see from my initial run, there's only a little bit of contact, and people talked about this potential area not contacting the ground, but it has hit the ground somewhere. You can see that it definitely is doing something. So whether or not that's my weight of my foot compressing, it's definitely there doing something, protecting the midsole. So what we've got here is you've got Zoom X all the way up here, and then the back area is React foam, which is lovely and cushioned. I've been working a lot on my foot strike lately just to try and get that midfoot. So to be honest, I didn't feel like the React was doing anything for me. I think from this shoe, potentially a little bit less React might have helped with people's weight issues around the shoe. I think there's additional material and additional rubber. It's definitely added weight to the shoe, but I didn't feel the weight. It didn't. For me, it was really weird. The best way I can describe running on this shoe is when I run on a track in normal shoes. That extra bounce that you get can sometimes feel a bit weird. So for people who are kind of used to running in performance shoes, I don't know if this will kind of really excite them. But for me, who's not used to running performance shoes, who's used to running in daily trainer type shoes, when I ran in this, it was almost like I had that feeling like the shoe wanted me to go faster. And what was going to be an easy day for me ended up being a quicker day, but it still felt easier. So the pace I was going at was like my kind of very close to my normal tempo pace in terms of doing that run, but it felt so much easier. It felt so much lighter. Some people have talked about the bounce, and I felt that. As I said, it's for me, it was a bit like running on a track in normal shoes. When you go on the track for the first time and you feel that bounce from the track, that's what it felt like. It was, and I can imagine how athletes, if they've tested this shoe, would want something very similar to that track feel on the road. And that's kind of what this gave me, the feeling I was on a track while running on the road. So absolutely brilliant experience for me. I am definitely including this in my rotation, but I would agree with lots of other people who have said that this is not a daily trainer. No, so whether Nike want to admit for your average runner this is a day, and they might put it in that range as a daily trainer, this isn't for me. This isn't a daily trainer. This is definitely a quick shoe, because you will, whatever your intention of going out running in this shoe is, you will find yourself picking the pace. The bounce that you get when you run will make you pick the pace. There's quite a lot of flexibility. There's not a lot of bend in here, but there's this piece of rubber that people talked about, and that is very much to kind of bridge the gap between the AirPods and the foam. So it enables the shoe to have a degree of flexibility, but it hasn't restricted me in running with the shoe. I didn't feel like it was a hard shoe to run on. I didn't feel like it was a real unique experience, and I can imagine how that would be different for some people if they're not familiar with that push off, you know, that bouncy feel. A lot of times people want in a fast shoe that responsive feeling and that firmer feeling. This is kind of more of a set of springs underneath your feet. And if you're not used to that feeling, if that's not something that you like, and what you want is more of a responsive flow, but a firmer flow to it. So that tends to be what I've seen in performance shoes. They're firmer rides, and that's for responsive. This is a weird combination. Now, as I said, I really like it. I like the upper. I like the midsole. I haven't really experienced the heel drop. I mean, that might be the good thing. It felt like it wasn't there, and I don't mean it in a bad way. It felt normal in terms of that kiss of the heel on the ground, and maybe that's because I run in Epic React, so I run in React foam, so it didn't feel different. What felt different was that push, and you know, with the weight of the shoe, it's not like I didn't feel the weight of the shoe, but it's almost like the weight of the shoe helped with my foot coming down. So it's almost like the shoe bounces you up, and then with your weight of the foot, you can almost allow that natural landing to happen, because it means you have a quicker cadence, because you're bouncing off and then you return to the ground, because that weight of the shoe saying to your feet, making your leg go, let's land quicker. So it's almost like it helps with the push off, and then it gives you something back. And the quicker you have that response, the quicker that response goes, the more the shoe kind of comes alive. So that's my initial thoughts. I said it was only a 5 mile run. I wanted to do an easy it didn't end up being easy, but it felt amazing to move at that speed. For about 3 miles of it, I was actually having a phone conversation, so that's how easy it felt. If you've got a pair of these shoes, tell me what you think. Is it something that you're going to think about getting? I would give these a try if you haven't. They are a bit in the pricey range, so you know, if you're really undecided, I wouldn't force you to go for them. I definitely think they're a good shoe. They're definitely a faster shoe. Definitely one for that faster shoe in your shoe rotation. So if you haven't got a daily trainer, you're looking for a daily trainer, this is not it. This is not a daily trainer in my world for the average runner. But if you're looking for a faster shoe for those faster runs, it definitely fits in that camp. So for me, I like this shoe. I'm definitely going to be wearing this shoe for those faster days. This is DR saying, guys, tell me your opinion. What do you think about these? Do you think they're all hype? Do you think they're actually not a good shoe? Or have you found that you like them if you got them? Put those comments in the doobly-doo. Like, share and subscribe. All those lovely things. This is DR saying peace out and have a safe journey wherever you're heading.